I'm very sorry about another video and then a reaction video over today's video maybe it's MCU, yes, because the last one was on Friday because I needed 2 days to break, and then half an hour because I got to do an Easter present. When I show you what I got, it's Easter present, yes. So if you ever see my TikToks about I got a Sonic Hedgehog 3 still booked him out today, but I'm not doing unboxing on YouTube, I'm unboxing on TikTok, so I'm going to put a prediction on there, so on this video prediction, yeah. So today we go back again, so today we're going to reaction to today's video MCU PS6 Part 3. It's going to be called Doctor Strange Broken Reality. Yes, but I can't wait for this last one because tomorrow is Saga 2 final, so yeah. So it is the Millions Galaxy Saga final, end of the Million Galaxy and Million Saga, and tomorrow will be end, yeah. So think of it all full project when that the new video come tomorrow, that I'm gonna reaction. And you can see him just right there. So anyway, so 1, 2, 3. Let's call Doctor Strange Broken Reality. I told you, yeah. So 1, 2, 3. Reaction.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Rebooted MCU. I know it's been a while since I've said that, so I'm not really going to hold you guys up for much longer, and we're going to jump right into Rebooted MCU Phase 6, Part 3. But before we do, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord down below for some updates that I'll also be talking about at the end of this episode. The movie opens up inside Kamar Taj as we see sorcerers walking around, training and reading, as a sudden explosion interrupts the otherwise tranquil atmosphere, as we abruptly cut inside a training room as we see Wanda Maximoff, played by Elizabeth Olsen, fly across the room as she slams into a wall. She pounds her fists as a voice emanates from across the room. I told you, Wanda. The winds of Watum are no joke. They are incredibly potent and capable of knocking even the most capable sorcerer down a peg. Wanda cowls as Dr. Stephen Strange, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, walks up to her. Wanda screams and fires a blast of chaos magic back at him. Strange reflects this using the Shield of Seraphim as Wanda cackles. And you should know, dear mentor, that I don't back down after getting knocked back. It just motivates me more. Watch as Wanda rapidly shoots chaos magic blasts around the room as Strange dodges quickly. He stops as he sees Wanda catch her breath and screams, "Crimson Bands of Sidorak." Crimson-colored bands shoot from Strange's hands, binding Wanda and preventing her from moving. Strange lands in front of her and chuckles as he removes the bands. Very good, Wanda. You managed to put the Sorcerer Supreme on a run and force me to use a new trick I've been working on. With a bit more work, you might be able to beat the best sorcerer in the world. Well, you can keep that title, and maybe the best sorcerer in the world will be able to go toe-to-toe with the best witch in the world. As Strange smiles at Wanda, we suddenly watch as a portal appears in midair. The portal seemingly is cut larger and larger as a woman suddenly walks through and announces, "To the current Sorcerer Supreme of Earth, I need to relay a desperate message. My name is Clea, the daughter of Umar the Unrelenting of the Dark Dimension. I'm here to inform you that the truce with my uncle, the Lord of Darkness, has ended. And I'm here to warn that your dimension is in danger." Doctor Strange and Wanda turn to each other as Strange whispers, "Wanda, get Wong, immediately." The two stand in shock as the woman is revealed to be Clea, played by Charlize Theron.
Sell new again designer on Vinted with 0 fees and item verification.
We cut inside the library of Kamar Taj as we see Wanda and Wong, played by Benedict Wong, sitting next to each other as we see Stephen and Clea pacing around the room. The tension is palpable. So you mean to tell me that the Sorcerer Supreme was not aware of the truce with the Lord of the Dark Dimension? Look, the Ancient One died before she had a chance to give me a detailed description of what the job looked like, and there was no mention of any truces with some Dark Lord in any of the ancient texts I read. Unreal. Your lack of foresight is alarming, especially for someone who is set to protect the Prime Dimension. What exactly have you done as Sorcerer Supreme? Well, miss, if you really want to challenge my record, I'll have you know I scared Gargantos back off into your dark dimension. I managed to aid in the effort to defeat the Mad Titan Thanos, and recently, I saw the attempted resurrection of the Elder God Chthon. So excuse me if I don't have time looking into what's happening in other dimensions outside of my own. Okay, wait, I'm confused. What exactly do you mean by different dimensions? You have not even touched your pupil about dimensions? How shameful. Look, I'll try to explain this in the simplest terms possible. Dimensions are lands containing space, matter, and energy that are similar but different than each other. These differences cause dimensions to be separated from one another to such an extent that entering into a new dimension would cause one to feel like they are entering into a new reality based on the differences in characteristics. Each dimension can only be accessed in a very particular method, mostly through the use of magic of a skilled user. For example, white magic is used to enter into the dream dimension. But in contrast, Asgard, the old dimensional home of the Asgardians, can only be accessed through the Bifrost. Wow, so there are a ton of different dimensions? Yes, there are many, and most we know extremely little about. Regardless, the broken truce with my uncle has now led to my mother convincing him that he needs to conquer the Prime Dimension in revenge. The Prime Dimension? Yes, our reality is in what is called the Prime Dimension, but we shorten it simply to the Earth Dimension. Academia aside, who exactly is this uncle of yours, and why should I be concerned about him coming into my dimension? Need I remind you that if he decides to do something as foolish as that, he would come face to face with the most powerful sorcerer in the world. If your power was as substantial as your ego, you might be the most powerful sorcerer to ever live. But trust me, you're no Agamotto, especially if you haven't heard the name Dormammu before. Wait, your uncle is Dormammu? The Lord of the Dark Dimension. From everything I read, isn't he supposed to be a fairly benevolent being? You don't understand. Dormammu isn't just an ordinary being. He's a Phaultine. A being made of pure magic, considered to be unfathomably powerful, difficult to even comprehend in their very existence. And if he is your uncle, my word, that must mean that Umar the Unrelenting is real. Hey, yeah, you mentioned that name when you first appeared. Why is that such a big deal, Wong? Umar the Unrelenting was merely a myth, a member of the Phaultine race, sister of Dormammu, but more ruthless, and, on top of that, one of the architects of Phaultine magic. We cut inside the dark dimension as we see a cloaked woman walking in front of two creatures with flames for heads. The group walks into a castle as we see a giant creature sitting on a throne, and the creature is revealed to be Lord Dormammu, voiced by Mark Hamill. He looks down at the group. Sister Umar, do you come to bore me with your foolish propositions and calls for war? The woman drops her cloak and is revealed to be Umar the Unrelenting, played by Michelle Pfeiffer, who smiles wickedly. Brother, this is not about starting a war. It's about taking back what is rightfully yours. King Cinnifer had grand plans for our lives, brother, and this might be the sign that you need to understand that. What is it that you speak of, sister? Your truce with the Sorcerer Supreme of the Prime Dimension has ended. The truce that started as a result of your first attempt to conquest the Prime Dimension. Yet, you have remained sidelined for years because of it. Now that the truce is over, maybe your original desire, your birthright as a Lord of Chaos, is finally ready to be fulfilled. Perhaps, but I'm not sure I'm ready to make a move yet, sister. This entire ordeal has taken a toll on me mentally, and I need to rest. Oh, don't worry, dear brother. This is where I come in. I have gained contact with the one who calls himself Karza of the Microverse. I will travel to visit him and gain access to the Prime Dimension. It will be secretive, not giving the sorcerers any time to react. Your conquering will be quick and painless. When I have secured an entrance, I will contact you. It appears you have thought this plan through, sister. Fine. You may see it through. Of course, I do have one small condition for this. You may state your request. When we begin conquering these dimensions, I request leadership of half of the new territory. Dormammu bursts up in flames. How dare you make such a request of me, sister? I am the Lord of Chaos. And your rule won't extend over any other dimension without my help. So accept my offer, or I stay here and you gain nothing. Dormammu sits and sighs. Fine, sister. We'll discuss the ramifications of our agreement when you have completed your end of the deal. Umar smiles devilishly as she walks away and tells her 2 guards, "Tell that stupid Maharak scientist to prepare the microversal entry module as soon as possible. I will leave in haste." We cut back inside the Kamartaj library as we see Wong looking concerned as Clea explains her mother's plan to the group. "My mother is going to attempt to attack your dimension through the microverse. There's currently a being in control of our portion of the microverse by the name of Baron Karza. Secretly, she's going to lure him into a false sense of security and just use him to gain power over different dimensions. The microverse. Oh, that place Stark and the others used to recover the Infinity Stones and time travel. Why exactly would your mother be snooping around in the microverse? You really are more clueless than I imagined. The microverse is a neutral zone of sorts. Can't really be considered a new dimension, more like an area that operates with different rules of space and time. But also, it is the area that connects every single dimension with one another. Theoretically, someone could jump from the dream dimension to the prime dimension through the microverse, assuming they had a way to get there and the intuition to know how to maneuver through the microverse. But if they manage to figure it out, it opens the door for the possibility of a massive surprise attack. Okay, no offense, lady, but you find your way into our dimensions, spreading warnings of an attack by your uncle and mother? Why exactly would you be sharing this information with us? Strange, it has to be some kind of trap. I was wondering that as well. You accuse me of deceit? You can believe what you will, but for me, I'd rather risk getting in the way of my mother and uncle instead of watching all of reality break before our very eyes. The 3 sit in shock as Strange clears his throat. Excuse me, did you just say reality breaking? Yes, as you mentioned, each reality is home to a wide range of different environments, many that are deadly to those who don't call that reality home. If Dormammu conquers your reality, the barriers will begin to crack and result in our realities combining, which might not be deadly at first, but if Dormammu manages to conquer more and more realities, each reality will merge into one, likely wiping out most life in our universe. Strange gulps as Clea sighs. Look, I didn't come here to play hero or anything, or because I have some grudge against my mom. I'm here because I don't think what my mother is doing is right. I know from how my uncle talks that the Sorcerer Supreme of the Prime Dimension is incredibly powerful and can find a solution to any issue. So please, Stephen Strange, do you have a way for us to access the microverse? We need to stop my mother before it's too late. Well, I don't directly know how to enter the microverse, but I believe that I know a woman who might be able to help us. Before we jump the gun, I still have a few questions. Strange, this is no time to ask questions. We have to get to Janet as quickly as we can. Fine, I'll ask later. Wanda, stay here and lead afternoon training today with the new recruits. Wong, Clea, and I need to make a quick trip to New York. Wanda nods as she watches Strange open up a portal as he, Wong, and Clea step through. We watch as Strange, Wong, and Clea appear in front of the home from Ant-Man and the Wasp Microverse and Reborn as Strange turns to the group. This was the last place I remember Janet living. I haven't heard from her in a couple years, but this is our best bet. Wong moves aside as a man carrying a cardboard box scoots past him. Hey, watch it, will ya? We're trying to clean this place out. Clea turns to Strange. So why exactly are these humans moving those strangely shaped devices out of the abode? I guess Janet is moving? We need to find her fast. Watch as Strange, Clea, and Wong burst into the house as we see various movers packing up furniture and moving boxes, as suddenly we see a man talking to a young woman sitting on the couch. Look, Cassie, this move has been delayed long enough. We are going to California whether you like it or not. Now come help your old man with these boxes. No, Dad, California's lame. The two are revealed to be Scott Lang, aka Ant-Man, played by Stephen Yeun, and his daughter, Cassie Lang, played by Una O'Brien. Watch as Strange and the others walk up to them. Scott sighs. Oh, thank goodness. Here, take this box. It has some heavy stuff in it, so be careful. Strange places the box down and chuckles awkwardly. I apologize, but who are you and where is Janet Van Dyne? Oh, wow, okay, so you must be a friend of hers. Let me explain everything. Scott explains to the group everything that happened in Ant-Man and the Wasp Reborn, how the microversal entry point created by Hank was destroyed, the second one built by Janet was taken away when she entered the microverse, how Janet chose to remain in the microverse, and how he and Cassie have taken up the mantle of Ant-Man and the Stinger, or Stature, or Ant-Girl. Well, it depends on the day. The group stands stunned as Dr. Strange shakes his head. Okay, I'm sorry, but you really don't know who I am? I don't think Janet mentioned you before she left, so no. He is Dr. Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme. He fought alongside Janet to help defeat Thanos. Oh, yeah! Cassie might have mentioned you at some point. That's awesome, man. Good job. You do know I'm the most powerful sorcerer in the world, right? But have you faced off against Harry Potter? Cassie told me he's hardcore. Dad, stop. You're embarrassing me. They'll let just about anybody don a suit these days, won't they? Unbelievable. Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Lang, but we are on borrowed time. Those devices you mentioned, they are what were used to enter the microverse, correct? Yeah, and since they're no longer around, we can't enter the microverse. Well, they aren't around, that's right. In the name of Onar, all of this was for nothing. We are out of options, Strange. Hold on a minute there. The two originals might have been destroyed and might not be around. But how about you follow me real quick? Scott heads for the garage as a group, along with Cassie, follow along. We cut into the microverse as we see Umar being led into a castle by robotic-looking guards. The group enters into a throne room, and one of the guards announces, Lord Baron Karza, we have brought the mysterious visitor. He watches a robotic-looking figure exits the shadows. He's revealed to be Baron Karza, voiced by Michael Cera, who chuckles awkwardly. Yeah, that's me. This is sort of my area, you know? Baron Karza. My name is Umar. I'm from the Dark Dimension. It is an honor and a privilege to meet you at last. Whoa, wait, you actually think it's an honor to meet me? That's super cool. Like, I really don't know how to react. I'm in shock. What are you talking about? You are the ruler of the microverse, are you not? I am, but like, when we were communicating using the Enigma Force, it was just so overwhelming. Like, this is awesome. One of the guards leans over to Umar as Karza continues talking. Our Lord is very self-conscious. He was not loved by our Creator despite his impressive power, so he really does not know how to react when people give him praise. Umar nods and smiles. Baron Karza, excuse my interruption. I remember discussing a mysterious device you reclaimed from a woman who found her way into the microverse. I believe I have some information that can be of service to you. Oh yeah, that thing. What exactly do you want with it? I believe that it will allow you to gain ownership of more land and expand your empire into areas more expansive than the microverse, and with more subjects as well. Oh, that's good. Yeah, keeping my power is really good. I really like it. I love to hear it, and would you mind showing me the device? I'd love to talk with you about our shared goals. Karza nods as he, Umar, and the guards walk out of the throne room. We cut inside the abandoned building that formerly housed the microversal entry point as Strange, Clea, and Wong stand as we watch Scott pull a blanket off of a machine as Cassie stands listening to music. As the blanket is removed, the device is revealed to be a new microversal entry point as Strange looks on in confusion. Scott, you managed to build one of these? Well, yeah, but with some help from Cassie and Ava. Ava's father was actually one of the architects behind the very first attempted build of the microversal entry point. And Janet helped her recover from her quantum phasing after Hank and her father had a run-in. Ava found out that Hank's original purpose for constructing the microversal entry point was for Pym to use quantum energy to help humanity in a variety of different ways. So Ava decided to construct a new microversal entry point to extract quantum energy as a way of honoring Pym's legacy. Wow, that is quite touching. I'm sure Janet would be thrilled. Yeah, the best part of it is that the quantum energy is being used by S.H.I.E.L.D. Director Hill renamed S.H.I.E.L.D.'s laboratory to the Pym and Van Dyne Laboratory of the Future in their honor. It's such a fitting tribute. Not to break the mood, but we are short on time here. Yeah, she's right. Scott, are you sure that this thing will get us down to the microverse safely? Well, we haven't sent any humans down there before, but all the energy canisters come back intact, so it should work. Okay, that's all I need to know. There's a dangerous one in the microverse that we need to stop. But don't worry, the world's strongest sorcerer will put an end to the chaos. You are so egotistical, it is a disgrace to the Sorcerer Supreme title. Well, don't worry, the astonishing Ant-Man will also be going to the microverse. Wait, what? Dad, why did you call yourself the astonishing Ant-Man? That is super lame. Oh, come on, Cassie, it's like what happens when people see me grow from being shrunk to being large. They're astonished. Scott, pay attention. You're not coming with us. We just needed your help to enter the microverse. Look, I respect that you're some kind of cool wizard man, but Janet is down there, and if I can let her know how things are going up here, and tell her how much I miss her, I'm going to take every opportunity I can to do that. Strange stares in silence as Clea growls. Enough already! Let the man join us. We need to get going. Scott pumps his fist in excitement as he shouts, Cassie, you're in charge of getting us in. I'll shoot you up a message from my helmet when it's time for us to be brought back up. Cassie nods as we see Scott, Strange, and Clea stand on the platform as Cassie begins hitting buttons to start the machine. Wong looks around confused. Strange, what exactly do you want me to do? Stay here with the girl. Maybe you can show her some sorcery. Wong gulps as Cassie smiles as she checks her phone. Okay, Dad. Good to go. The microversal entry point begins to make noise as Scott chuckles in excitement. Hold on, Mr. Sorcerer. It's about to get windy. Cassie hits a button as a strong gust of wind sucks the three, along with Cassie's iPhone, into the microverse. Cassie and Wong stand in shock as there is nothing left of the three who once stood on the platform. We watch as Strange, Clea, and Scott enter the microverse as Badlands by Bruce Springsteen blasts from Cassie's phone. As the group is sent flying towards the ground, Scott hits a button on his belt which activates his Ant-Man suit, allowing him to grow large and protect Strange and Clea from a heavy impact on the ground. As Giant Man lands, he returns to normal size as he, Strange, and Clea look around the microverse. We see terrain that can only be described as unusual or weird, along with vortexes seemingly made of cloud. Scott looks around baffled. You know, this is my first time in the microverse. I had no idea how Janet got adjusted to a place like this. Hold on a minute. Despite all your experience with this place, this is your first time coming down here? Yeah, I sort of forgot to mention that. We are really going to die stuck down here, aren't we? Okay. Come now. We have the aid of the alleged strongest sorcerer in the world. We'll find a way to get out. You just have to throw that one back at me, don't you? Guys, wait a minute. Do you hear that? Suddenly we hear a sound of galloping as strange lizard-like men ride up to the group. As suddenly a man sitting on the back of one of the lizards shoots a gun-like device at Clea. As she is hit, watches her entire body is shocked as she falls to the ground. What's going on? Scott, do you know anything about this? Nope, I'm in the same boat as you, man. He watches a man jumps off the back of one of the lizards, and he is joined by three robotic creatures. He shouts, Capture them, men. Let's bring them back to the Mirwood base. The robots begin to approach Steven and Scott as Strange prepares for battle as Scott turns to him. Listen, don't fight back or anything. These creatures probably don't mean us any harm. We just need to go along with them for now and explain who we are later. Strange sighs and nods as they watch the robots gather the three and return to the lizard men as the group gallops away. We cut to a fortress-looking structure as we see the man from earlier leading Strange, Scott, and Clea, who has since regained consciousness, into a jail wing of sorts. As they enter, the man chuckles. We don't take kindly to strangers, so we're going to hold you in here for now, until we can make time to question you about how you ended up here in the first place. But get comfortable, because this cell will likely be where you will remain for the foreseeable future. As the group walks into the wing, Scott turns to pass a cell housing Andrew Forson, played by John Cusack, and Lyle Getz, played by John Glazer, who have both been bloodied and bruised along with several ants as Scott winces. Geez, maybe Janet didn't come this way. She wouldn't have wanted to see those guys again. Suddenly the man stops and turns around. Excuse me? What did you just say? Oh, I was talking about my friend Janet Van Dyne. She came to the microverse a few years ago, but I guess she didn't come this way. Wait, you don't mean Johnette, do you? The mighty hero from Earth? Well...
Buy your dream furniture, interest-free. Grow your home. Oak Furniture Land today.
Well, her name is Janet, but she is from Earth. My word. I cannot believe that you are friends with the mighty hero Johnette. Please let me uncuff you immediately. I will gather the Micronauts and hold a conference at once. He watches a man removes the cuffs from the three as Strange looks confused. So who exactly are you? My name is Arctis Ran, played by Zachary Levi, the leader of the Micronauts. I will call a conference with the other members. Any friend of Johnette is a friend of mine. The three look at each other confused, but follow Ran out of the prison wing. We cut to a few minutes later as we see Strange, Clea, and Scott sitting inside a conference room as we see Rand seated next to four other individuals as he smiles. My friends, let me introduce you to my team, the Micronauts. Around the table we see the members of the Micronauts, including the beautiful Marionette, played by Mila Kunis, the robotic warrior Acroyear, voiced by David Dasmalchian, and two robots from earlier who helped capture the group, Biotron, voiced by Jack Black, and Microtron, voiced by Charlie Day. Rand explains that the group met Janet when she entered the Microverse following the events of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Reborn. Micronauts had been in constant conflict with the evil Baron Karza, who had taken over much of the discovered area of the Microverse. The Microversal entry point used by Janet to enter the Microverse was seized by Baron Karza, while the broken parts of the Microversal entry point used by Forzan and Getz were seized by the Micronauts. Janet aided in the fight against Baron Karza, but it was discovered that he was too powerful. So Janet decided that the best course of action would be for her to build a makeshift Microversal entry point using the scraps of the destroyed device, and allow a member of the Micronauts to escape to Earth and find help for the battle against Baron Karza. Wait, so someone used the Microversal entry point made by Janet to escape this place? Yes, he was a brave warrior by the name of Bug. Did you not meet him? Bug? Like an insect or something like that? No, he's just a guy who ticks, sort of like a speech issue or something. Now that's just plain rude. Okay, I get it. Somebody escaped, and obviously, you all didn't escape and neither did Janet. What happened? Well, Karza attacked us as Bug fled. He wanted to gather the Microversal entry points for himself. He thought that having two devices would make him appear more powerful and more worthy of respect. Yeah, we decided to fend him off for our friend so she could follow her dream. Janet? Yes, Jeanette told us she traveled to the Microverse in order to follow the dream of her late hero, Ha'ankh. Oh, Hank, yeah, he always wanted to discover all the Microverse had to offer. Indeed, so we held off Karza as long as we could for her to escape. And since she has left us behind, she's begun traversing areas of the Microverse many of us have considered to be treacherous. So much so that none have dared to explore the vast reaches of this place that she's traveled to. She didn't fear anything. She knew that she wanted to travel there because of what Ha'ankh would have really wanted to know. The group sits in silence as Scott sighs. Wow, Janet really did love Hank, even risking her own life for the sake of completing his goals. Everything she did for him. Yes, I'm sorry that you will not be able to see your friend, but just know she is following her dreams and we are following them with her, in spirit. Well, this has made it evident that Captain America needs to find a better way to communicate with everybody about what's going on. Before today, I had no idea Janet was even gone. But this makes me wonder, how exactly did you all get here, and how did this dispute with Baron Karza even begin? Did you always live here in the Microverse? No, unfortunately, we are all creations of the man who goes by the title of the High Evolutionary. The High Evolutionary? Yes, well, that is the title he gave himself. He was originally a man who lived on Earth that went by the name of Herbert Wyndham. Herbert Wyndham. That name sounds incredibly... Wait. Herbert Wyndham was the name of the individual who studied mutations atop Mount Wundagore. We located his files and I was helping Charles and Eric out years ago. Oh, so you visited his old stomping grounds. I remember that place. It was cold. Deathly cold. And the terrain was intense. Not fond memories. Wait, so you've been to Earth? Well, I am human. At least, I was. Wyndham was obsessed with mutations until his old pal Essex gained powers and ran. And to add insult to injury, the scientific community rejected his research as mere science fiction. This caused Wyndham to gain a new goal, to create the perfect life form. I was one of Wyndham's first experiments. He inserted a device known as an eternal pacemaker into my chest. It is a device that prevents me from ever dying. Wyndham thought it would make me perfect, but unfortunately, I still had free will, something he hated. So he threw me into the Microverse, along with the rest of Batch Number 1. What do you mean by Batch Number 1? When Wyndham created new batches, he gave them numbers and would brand us within our groups. After my group, his second batch was a robotic species called the Galadorians. Why does that sound familiar? Wait, Rom is a Galadorian! They're making a movie series about him on Earth! Wow, I'm jealous! I wish they'd make a movie about us, that would be too cool! Yeah, now hear me out, and don't look at me like I'm crazy, but my daughter Cassie's a member of this conspiracy theory group online, and the rumors say that Rom is real and landed somewhere in West Virginia, but the government is covering up his entire existence. Yeah, right, because everything you read online is true. Give me a break, Scott. You two need to quit. Now, as you were saying, you all came from these batches? Yes, Wyndham threw all of us into the Microverse for various reasons. I was part of Batch 4, which was an attempt to create a humanoid-android hybrid, but me and my batch were rejected because we were too frail. I was a part of Batch 9, but unfortunately, he said me and my batch were too one-dimensional to be special. Batch 19 was my group, and we were all thrown out because he said our build was too disproportional for his liking. I was part of Batch 20, and he said my group was too timid based on our small size. Wait, so all of you were rejected by your own creator for characteristics that he endowed you with? Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Wow, I can't imagine how that must feel. But what's the deal with this Baron Karza? Let me guess. He was also made by Wyndham. He was. He was a part of Batch 5, the batch that came immediately after me. He is incredibly powerful, being endowed with the Enigma Force and all. What's the Enigma Force? The Enigma Force is this incredibly powerful cosmic energy that is capable of granting those endowed with it incredible power, otherworldly strength, the ability for cross-reality communication, and other abilities our minds can't even grasp if we try. Wyndham allegedly encountered the Enigma Force during his intergalactic travels after he left Earth. Okay, so hear me out. If this individual Baron Karza is as powerful as you claim he is, why would Wyndham reject a creation who was endowed with an energy that powerful? Baron Karza is incredibly powerful, yes, but Wyndham did not believe that he was worthy of his praise. Karza tried to do everything in his power to impress Wyndham, but all Wyndham would do was offer critique and insult. He eventually grew tired of Karza and discarded him here in the microverse. Wow, I almost feel sorry for the guy. Don't let his story fool you. Once he arrived in Microverse, he attempted to launch a full-scale takeover of this area, claiming that all those who opposed him would be killed. Karza didn't care about the well-being of us. He just wanted to conquer and kill in order to prove to himself that he was worthy of respect. A few of us wanted to avoid being stuck under his rule, which led to the formation of the Micronauts, but the vast majority of the batches surrendered to his control out of fear for their lives. Thanks to the Enigma Force, Karza has been able to conquer and gain control of almost all of the area in the Microverse. We managed to keep this small portion of land, and have formed an alliance with the lizard people of Talk to use their land as well. Yes, the partnership has been most helpful indeed. Though it may be but a mere acre, the lizard people of Talk have the only fertile piece of land within our territory. Wait, so you're all surviving off of one measly acre of fertile ground? Yeah, this is mainly where our disputes with Karza have come from. The area he controls is filled with fertile ground, perfect for harvesting food. Before our alliance with the lizard people, the only way for us to eat was to pillage Karza's territory, which often led to battle. And I'm assuming that attempting to negotiate was off the table. Yep, Karza viewed the fertile land as a way to mandate his dominance and force others to surrender to his power. Well, in that case, I guess I have to confront this Baron Karza directly. Have you gone mad? We don't have much time to spare, so I'm in agreement with you on this one, Steve. I think this is an incredibly rash decision. You haven't the slightest idea of his power. Trust me, it doesn't matter. I'm the Sorcerer Supreme, and this Baron Karza has technology that I'm interested in and that somebody who I need to stop might also have an interest in. I'm the most powerful sorcerer in the world. This doesn't faze me in the slightest. Ever the egotistical man, are you? So, what do you want me to do? Stay here. This shouldn't take long. I seriously implore you to reconsider your actions. You don't know what kind of power Karza holds. Well, I'm going to find out. I'm assuming that if Clea and I enter the land controlled by Karza, we'll be confronted by his minions. I mean, yeah? Microtron, don't encourage him! Strange smiles as he and Clea exit the room as the Micronauts and Scott sit in awkward silence. We cut back inside the abandoned building as we see Wong and Cassie sitting in awkward silence as Wong clears his throat. So, what kind of TV shows do you watch? Nothing you'd be interested in, old man. Excuse me, Missy, that is no way to talk to your elders. Plus, I don't look a day over 30. More like 90 if you ask me. Why, you know, if we weren't working together, I would totally make you eat those words. Doubt it, but you need to chill out. I know you're worried about your friends, but my dad is with them. They aren't going to be in any danger. But more importantly, high stress isn't good for someone of your age. Just promise you that if I demand to be sent down there, you will. Nope, you might be a boring old guy, but I don't have any music to listen to now, so messing with you is my only form of entertainment. What if I was willing to make a deal? Cassie shoots a devilish smile at Wong. I'm listening. We cut to see Doctor Strange and Clea walking through a much more populated area of the Microverse. There's a lot of plant life and foliage in the area, with mysterious and otherworldly fruit being grown for the members of Karza's army to consume. Clea shakes her head. You know, I kind of feel bad for these creatures. Following this self-loathing pissin is the only way for them to get a meal, which is exactly why we have to put a stop to this before things get more out of hand. But Clea, you need to be prepared to deal with your mother. Look, you don't understand what my mother has gone through. She isn't a bad person, just misguided. If people were simply misguided, there wouldn't be a need for someone like me. It's because some people excuse evil for ignorance. Clea looks to the ground as creatures suddenly jump from the surrounding foliage. The creatures appear to look familiar, as they are creatures of Batch 31, the same batch as Bug. One of them brandishes their spear and yells, "I'm going to, ask you this only once, surrender to the authority, of the Almighty One,
Bug.
Baron Karza, or be sentenced to death, Oh, so this is the speech impediment he was talking about. Do you, mock me? Oh no, but we do submit to the authority of Baron Karza. The creatures cuff both Strange and Clea as the leader of the creature shouts, "Take them to the palace, The Almighty Lord Karza, will decide what to do with them." As Strange and Clea are sent away, Strange shoots a smile towards Clea. And look, our welcoming party is leading us to the main event. Clea rolls her eyes as the group heads towards the castle. We watch as Baron Karza sits on a large throne as Strange and Clea are led inside the throne room. The creatures bow. "Almighty Baron Karza, we have brought you two prisoners, so you may judge them, and decide their fate." "Oh yeah, good job, really good job, and thanks for calling me Almighty. I do have a lot of power, so it has a really nice ring to it." Strange whispers to Clea, "What is this guy's deal?" Suddenly, the door to the throne room bursts open as Umar enters and chuckles. My, look at that, my own daughter. I didn't want to believe it when you told me that you didn't support my position, but this is truly a new low. Mother, you have to understand my position. I don't want to oppose you, but I also don't want reality to be broken because of your selfish ambition. Umar scoffs and stands in front of the duo. Selfish and righteous. There's a thin line between those two, child. And who is this ravishing gentleman? Did you make a new friend? Unfortunately for you, lady, you have met your worst nightmare, as you have come face to face with the most powerful sorcerer in the world. My name is Stephen Strange, and I'm the Sorcerer Supreme of the Prime Dimension. And as long as I stand in your path, nothing will happen to me or my dimension. Umar stands stunned and begins to laugh. You're the Sorcerer Supreme? Don't joke around like that. I've met a ton of Sorcerer Supremes, and trust me, you are no ancient one. You don't compare to Merlin, Mekri Ra, or Hanuman, and you are certainly no Agamotto. Doubt me all you want. You will learn that underestimating me comes at your own risk. Wow, it's really nice to watch somebody else get crushed like that, especially when it's not me. Amazing, simply outstanding. Listen, Mother, this man truly is the Sorcerer Supreme, and if you can find a way to get him to talk with Dormammu, then all of this can be avoided. What kind of simple-minded fool do you take me for, Clea? This was never about Dormammu or the Sorcerer Supreme. It was about achieving my birthright, something that has been withheld from me for long enough. And what exactly is that? Power, control, influence. You know what I've had to suffer through? Playing second fiddle to my brother, all because I was a girl? What on earth are you talking about? My father, Cinnafer, chose my simpleton of a brother to be his heir, even though my brother was always too emotional. Used me to help guide the people, and would lean on me to make the ultimate difficult decisions. But despite all of this, I've always been relegated to second place, a mere addition to my brother's side, all because of my gender. You don't understand what it's like being stuck in second, when in your soul you know you were born to be first. And now, thanks to my brother once again being blinded by his emotion, I will take what is mine and control a dimension and show all what I, Lord Umar, bring to the table. Do you even hear what you're saying? You're letting your own ego risk the destruction of all reality. You could never understand my plight, daughter. You know what, Karza? Let's get this invasion underway. I'm tired of waiting. Okay, yeah, sure, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, let's do it. We watch as two of Karza's henchmen roll in one of the microversal entry points as the roof of the palace begins to open as Clea screams in horror, while Strange watches on in silence as Karza nods to his henchmen. They hit a button, and as a portal opens, we watch as Faltine soldiers begin to march into the microverse, as we hear a looming voice directing the soldiers through the portal. Clea gulps. This is worse than I thought. Way worse. They brought the Faltine army. And that voice, I'm assuming, yes, it's him. It's Dormammu. Umar laughs as she watches the Faltine soldiers file into the microverse as Karza claps with excitement. More land for me, yay, I'm so excited, I'm gonna be so powerful and there won't be any reason why people wouldn't love me. Umar smiles maliciously and turns to Karza's soldiers. Now fire up the second microversal entry point. We'll begin our invasion of the Prime Dimension before they even have a second to react. No, you don't. I'm not gonna let that happen. We watch as Strange struggles, not being able to find enough wiggle room to cast any spells as Umar cackles. And this is the power of the current Sorcerer Supreme? You bring the title shame. Strange looks on, panting, with fear in his eyes as a henchman wheel in the second microversal entry point. Clea turns to Strange. You said you were the strongest sorcerer in the world. You're about to let all of our realities get destroyed. Strange attempts to cast a spell with all his might, but without the ability to move his hands, he is rendered useless. He watches on as Umar goes to push the button to activate the machine, when suddenly, a massive explosion blows a hole in the building. Debris flies everywhere and smoke fills the throne room. He watches suddenly the handcuffs on Strange and Clea are broken as Scott grows to normal size and shouts, I freed him! He watches Rand and Marionette stand where the destroyed portion of the building once stood. Glad we could rescue you, Strange. Any friend of Johnette is a friend of ours. Oh, and Karza, consider this our final rebellion against you. Strange looks outside to see the entire fighting force of the Micronauts, their allied batch members, and the lizard people of Ta waiting outside the castle. Strange turns to Rand and nods. Thanks, I needed it. I need you to instruct them to prevent my mother from activating that machine. Rand nods and shouts, Micronauts, with your dying will, don't let Karza or his allies activate this machine. We hear the roar from the Micronauts as they storm the building, engaging in battle with Karza's men and the Faltine soldiers. We watch as members of the Micronauts and their allies clash with the Faltine soldiers and Baron Karza's men as Strange, Clea, and Scott look on. Scott smiles and turns to the group. Well, we sure got you out of that bind, Mr. Sorcerer Supreme. You might have, but this was an extremely reckless decision. You just placed the lives of all of these inhabitants in peril. Oh, come on, dude. You're a magician, so don't you know the magic words? Please and thank you go a long way. You've got to be joking me. Cool it. I think we can use this to our advantage, but we have to be strategic. Scott, I need your group to continue to prevent Karza from activating that second microversal entry point, while I find a way to shut off the access point allowing the Faltine soldiers in from the Dark Dimension. And Strange, I have a feeling I know what you're going to say. I need to prevent Dormammu from entering the microverse. Yes, if you are serious about fulfilling your duties as Sorcerer Supreme, you will face my uncle and protect your dimension. Strange looks at Clea in the eyes and nods. Scott smiles and winks. Sounds like we got a plan, team. Right, let's move out. Ant-Man shrinks as he watches the three go their separate ways. We cut to see Baron Karza sitting on his throne as a henchman runs up to him. Lord Karza, we need your help. The Micronauts are overtaking us. Well, you see, it wouldn't be great for me to get involved now because, only when I need to use my power. I mean, it makes me seem much more stronger if I do that. Getting involved early, it made me look too weak.
This is what it's like to travel on your terms. Hertz, let's go.
Yes, that's me. Oh my God.
And then he just peeled it.
Henchman sighs and returns to the battle as he watches Clea dash throughout the battlefield, dodging explosions and fighting as she makes her way towards the active microversal entry point. We watch as she closes in when suddenly, Flames of Faltine! We watch as the area around the microversal entry point is hit as powerful flames knock the area of the castle away from the remainder of the building. Both Clea and the microversal entry point fall toward the ground. As the smoke clears, Clea coughs as Umar levitates down from the castle and screams, You are taking everything from me, daughter! Do you not love your mother? You're misguided, mother. I understand that you have been wronged in the past and that my grandfather's archaic ways are not fair. But you choosing to place every single reality at risk for your feelings is wrong. And it's given me no other choice than to attempt to stop you. Well, in that case, I'll always remember you, daughter, but I will do as I must to stop you from getting in the way of my destiny. So be it. Sereno's Storm of Swords. We watch as an energy projection of a sword forms around Clea's hand as she and Umar charge at each other. We cut to see Strange flying towards the active microversal entry point portal as he deflects incoming Faltine soldiers. As he inches closer and closer to the entrance, he begins to see the imposing figure of Dormammu standing just inside the Dark Dimension. Strange clears his throat and screams, Dormammu! My name is Stephen Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme of the Prime Dimension. I'm here to talk with you. Dormammu smiles and turns. The new Sorcerer Supreme. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. You watch as Dormammu steps out of the Dark Dimension and stands in front of Strange. Dormammu towering over Strange, who floats using the cloak of levitation. Strange smirks. Well, I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting for someone to compensate for their lack of intelligence with their height, but I've been proven to be wrong a lot today. Oh, a sassy one. No wonder you thought you could break our sacred oath. Listen, boy, you should know it isn't smart to talk to me in that manner. I will talk to you as I see fit. I'm the Sorcerer Supreme, the most powerful sorcerer in the world, and I will not let you or your army get close to the Prime Dimension. Is that a threat? It's a promise. I will stop you right here, right now. Oh, please, cast your silly little spells and use whatever incantations you have up your sleeve. I can kill you before you utter the first word. Big words, but I know deep down, you're just scared to face the best. You think they're only words, boy? Let me show you. I could kill you a million different ways before you even realize that your life is ended. Dormammu snaps his fingers as Strange has shown Dormammu killing him in a million different ways, each time more brutal than the last. Strange stands in awe, fear overtaking the Sorcerer Supreme as he falls to the ground, panting, in shock of what he just witnessed. We cut back to the fighting as you see the Micronauts beating the forces of Karza as Rand cheers with excitement. Keep it going! We've almost achieved victory! Watch as Karza stands from his throne and shouts, How hard is it to activate a machine? Watch as Karza slowly walks through the battles, the sheer power of the Enigma Force killing his henchmen and supporters of the Micronauts alike, as he quickly approaches a second microversal entry point. Rand looks on in horror and speaks into a communicator. Okay guys, Karza's quickly approaching. Fall back and stop him. Watch as the supporters of the Micronauts turn their attention to Karza, who defeats them all with ease. Acroyear flies directly at Karza, screaming, This is what you get for the suffering you caused me and my people! Karza turns, unfazed, and impales Acroyear, yanking Acroyear's artificial heart from his body, killing him instantly. Rand stands in shock as he calls out to his troops. Men, do what you must to stop him, but please be careful. Watch as every member of the Micronauts and Scott charges at Karza, but easily pushes them to the side. We cut to watch Clea being thrown around by Umar, the more experienced witch easily outclassing Clea as she falls to the ground. Umar cackles. You should have stood by my side, Clea. You could have ruled over your own reality. You still fail to see why you're wrong in this situation. You are unfit to rule anything, Mother. You are a truly lost cause. Umar stands still, staring at her daughter as the anger boils inside her. Fine then, I won't kill you, but I'll use my own technique and force you to watch as I become a ruler and slowly overtake my brother. Stone Prison of Umar. You watch as Clea slowly begins to turn to stone. As Umar cackles, Clea screams, as suddenly, the spell stops. Umar falls to the ground as the camera quickly pans up and reveals Wong standing behind Umar. Sorry I'm late. I had to negotiate with the child in order to come down here. We come back to Dormammu, who watches Strange lying on the ground. Dormammu shrinks to Strange's size and stares at him. Oh, come now. You are the Sorcerer Supreme. Why do you bow like this? It is so pathetic after you spoke so highly of yourself just a few minutes ago. Dormammu stops as we see tears fall on the ground. Strange is sobbing. How? How am I so weak? Why? Why am I this weak? Dormammu stands in silence, then slowly cracks a smile. So, boy, you realize that you don't stand a chance against someone like me. Please, kill me. Just do it. But if you do, promise me that you won't hurt the Prime Dimension. This is what it takes to protect it. Just kill me. Dormammu stands stunned. You would really trade your life for the protection of your dimension. Yes, please just don't harm anyone. You really do love your dimension, Stephen Strange. An admirable quality. Shared among your predecessors. What's the deal with you and my predecessors? What's the reason you sought to bring about this war and conquer my reality? When I first became the ruler of the Dark Dimension, I attempted to conquer your dimension. It was my hubris leading me down an evil path. But as me and my army entered your reality, we were stopped by Sorcerer Supreme Agamotto. He was like you in many respects. He had great reverence for his title and would do anything to protect his dimension. We engaged in a battle. It lasted 10 days. And at the end of it all, we stopped the fight. It was a draw. But I would argue I won. Not because I outclassed Agamotto by any means, but because I gained a friend. We agreed that every 10 years we would hold a meeting in the Dark Dimension to talk about the state of our dimensions respectively, but primarily it would be to catch up. The Dark Dimension is a lonely place. When you have the power I do, your subjects fear you. All I ever wanted was a friend, and when you broke that promise, even after I waited an additional year for you to return, I was devastated. Mainly because I felt that I had lost a friend. The one thing that kept me going and kept me motivated through the loneliness. The Ancient One, she died abruptly. She gave me this title without much preparation. There's a significant amount of information that got lost when the transition occurred, and the meeting with you sadly got lost in that shuffle. It was never my intention to make you feel abandoned or make you feel that you had lost a friend, and I sincerely apologize for any pain I might have caused you. But how about this? In 10 years' time, we'll have our meeting once again, and when we do, I'll stay for longer than 10 days, and we can plan for the future of our dimensions together. Dormammu smiles and nods. You're a good man, Stephen Strange. Your power comes not from your abilities, but from your heart. Strange looks out towards the vast reaches of the microverse as Dormammu begins to grow again. I will see you in 10 years, Stephen Strange. It will be a glorious occasion. We watch as Wong and Clea team up to fight against Umar, with the sorcerer standing her ground as the two seem unable to get an edge on her. As suddenly we watch as the Faltine soldiers begin to return to the Dark Dimension. The group notices Dormammu exiting the microverse as Wong turns to Clea. What is going on?
Hello, you. It's stressful when bills are coming at you from all angles. At USwitch, our experts fight for fairer prices on your energy, broadband and mobile bills, so you could switch, save and feel more protected. USwitch. We put you first. Energy, broadband, mobile.
He did it. Strange ended the fight. The Faltine are retreating. What? That man is truly worthy of holding the title of Sorcerer Supreme. You blasted fool of a brother! You're going to take away my only chance at glory! I won't let you! Umar turns and lunges at Clea and Wong. Clea gets in the way and deflects the attack using one of her conjured energy swords as she shouts, Wong, do it! Shut down the machine! Wong rushes towards the microversal entry point as Umar screams, You won't take away my birthright! Umar pushes Clea down and forms a scythe made out of energy. But before she can slice Wong, we hear Clea scream, Stone Prison of Umar! Watch as Umar becomes stuck in place. Her body begins to transform into stone. She screams, How could you do this to me? I'm your own mother! How could you turn your back on my dreams? Clea stops as her mother fully becomes stone. She falls to her knees and breaks into tears as Wong hits the button, and we watch the portal to the Dark Dimension slowly begin to close. Wong sighs and walks over to sit next to Clea. She's sobbing as she stares at the rock statue. Wong pats her on the back and smiles. Clea, you did it. You saved our realities. We cut to see Karza standing confused as the members of the Micronauts lay defeated. He notices a portal leading to the Dark Dimension slowly closing as he yells, Why? Why are you guys retreating? You were supposed to make me look powerful! Rand chuckles as he lies on the ground. And what about that, Karza? Looks like your little plan is ruined. Karza growls, You think that? No! I've come way too far to give up on this. If that stupid woman can't help me, then I'll just conquer the Prime Dimension myself! Rand sits in disbelief as he watches Karza reach the microversal entry point, as suddenly, Scott grows back to normal size and punches Karza in the face as he stumbles back. You aren't going anywhere near the Prime Dimension, not as long as I stand in your way. You have the same powers as that woman who came here through all those years ago and helped let that slimy bug creature escape. I hate you, and I hate your power! Watch as Karza punches Scott, the blow being so powerful that it renders Scott useless. He falls to the ground, as all the force of the Micronauts have been defeated, and Karza makes his way to the microversal entry point with no obstacles to prevent his approach. Well, it looks like the power is going to elevate me above all. Karza hits the button to activate the microversal entry point, but as he does, nothing happens. He begins mashing the button, and as he does, we begin to hear a sparking sound. Karza turns to see Microtron playing with wires at the bottom of the device. He screams, What are you doing? Showing that my small size is still enough to stop you, Karza. This machine will detonate and will burn both me and you alive. But thankfully, the fatal effects of the explosion will only reach us. Game over. Karza screams in terror as Microtron shouts, "You hear that, High Evolutionary? Who is the timid creation now?" He watches a Microverse launcher point explode, evaporating both Karza and Microtron in its blast. Rand looks up to see the explosion and is blasted away by the recoil. We notice that the Enigma Force exits Karza's body as the body is evaporated in the explosion. In the midst of the chaos, the Enigma Force enters Rand's body. As the dust clears, we watch as Strange, Wong, and Clea make their way back to the castle. Clea hugs Strange in excitement while Strange stands confused to see Wong. Rand stands up in shock over his new power and looks around. We see Marionette look towards Rand. Is it over? Did we win? We did. All thanks to Microtron. Karza's evil reign is over! Watch as members of the Micronauts, their allies, and even the former henchmen of Baron Karza cheer. Watch as Scott walks over to Strange in the group as he smiles. Well, we did it. In some respects, we did, but this had little to do with us. It all came down to what made those creatures special. The group smiles as they watch the celebration happen. Scott proceeds to hit his earpiece and says, "Okay, Cassie, bring us home." Watch as the four return to the Prime Dimension, as Rand stands on the throne formerly occupied by Karza. For far too long, my friends, the power of the Enigma Force has been used to strike fear in the hearts of those that opposed its rule. As the man who now holds its power, we will work toward creating a just society for us all. Former Karza supporter or not, you're now one of us. In the memory of Acroyear and Microtron, we are the Micronauts. And moving forward, we will make the Microverse feel like a home to all those who inhabit it. The crowd screams in excitement as we cut to the Prime Dimension as we watch Strange, Clea, Wong, and Scott arrive back in the abandoned building, where we see Cassie listening to Wong's phone. Wong, your playlists suck. I mean, how much opera and classical do you listen to? And more importantly, why is Nicki Minaj randomly in your mix? Wong sighs as Strange chuckles. I don't know about you all, but I could really go for a hoagie right about now. Cut to a few hours later inside the Sanctum Sanctorum as we see Clea, Scott, Cassie, Wong, and Strange sitting around a table eating. Strange smiles at Wong. Extra Italian. I can always count on you. Wong winks as Scott clears his throat. So, does this mean that I'm on the Avengers now or something? That's outside of my wheelhouse, but you fought well, Scott. And I know that Janet would be proud of you. So, well, I appreciate the kind words, and, I wouldn't be able to join the Avengers anyways. I'm moving to California next week. But if Captain America or Hawkeye or anybody like that asks about me, just make sure you put in a good word. Don't worry, I'll make sure that they know about you, Scott. Clea turns to Strange. Well, I must say, Stephen Strange, you really surprised me. I wasn't expecting you to end up saving us all. Maybe you truly are the most powerful sorcerer in the world. No, I'm not. What? Strange, where's this coming from? I realized in the Microverse, Dormammu would have killed me easily if he wanted to. I might have won this time without using my powers, but in the future, there might not be enemies as kind-hearted as Dormammu. So from here on out, I need to push myself to become the most powerful sorcerer that there has ever been. So in the event that another threat arises, I will be there to stop it. Clea smiles at Strange as he turns to her. I could use a powerful training partner if you want to stay around and help out. As enticing of an offer as that is, I unfortunately need to return to the Dark Dimension. I need to see if I can recover my mother's body from the Microverse. But you're cute. I'll make sure to stop by sometime. Strange nods as Wong blurts out, Strange, I almost forgot. We have a training session with the new sorcerers in 5 minutes. Strange snickers as he stands. Well, my friends, it was a pleasure working with you all. When the Sorcerer Supreme is needed, his duties must be fulfilled. The group smiles as we watch Strange and Wong return to Kalmartage as the movie ends.
Want to sort those lines and wrinkles, but not ready for drastic measures? Try Olay Regenerist. Its microsculpting technology penetrates 10 surface layers deep and boosts surface skin cell renewal. Drastic results without drastic measures. Firmer, smoother, radiant skin in just 7 days. Try Olay.
Okay.
In the first post-credit scene, we cut about a week later as we see Scott sitting on his couch. He's quietly enjoying his new home in California as suddenly he hears a knock at his door. He sighs and gets up. I told you, Richard, I don't have a dog and I have no clue why dog poop keeps ending up on your lawn. As Scott opens the door, we see Simon Williams, a.k.a. Wonder Man, played by Dave Chappelle, and Barbara Barton, a.k.a. Mockingbird, played by Linda Cardellini, standing there as Scott stands stunned. Oh, you aren't Richard. Who are you? We're members of the West Coast Avengers. I'm Simon and this is Barbara, and we're here because we heard that you have unique abilities, some of which might be useful on our team. Perfect execution, Rook, but we wouldn't expect anything less from a movie star. Well, acting is my day job, so what do you say, Scott? Yes, he remembered! He remembered to tell them about my abilities! He is so cool! Scott? What are you talking about? Oh, sorry, I got a bit carried away. Yeah, I'm in! In the second post-credit scene, we cut to the top of Mount Wundagore as he watches the Darkhold begins reforming as the voice of Chthon, who is voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson, speaks. That stupid sorcerer thought he could kill me by destroying the book. What a simple-minded idiot. I need to pay him a visit. That girl. She is special. Be prepared, world, as my heraldess is coming. Chthon laughs as the Darkhold flips open, showing the page detailing the legend of the Scarlet Witch. And that is...
That's the Doctor Strange broken reality. So yeah, so what you guys comment below what you think of this video. If you enjoyed the reaction for today's video, maybe the MCU FTS part 3 Doctor Strange broken reality. So tomorrow will be I guess 4 protests or 5, I don't know. So tomorrow it's gonna be video of Mutant Galaxy Saga and tomorrow, yes. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to more video over Saga 2, yeah. So see you tomorrow. Bye.